something super fascinating about looking at all these animals do what they do. A lot of times I get a little confused on what it is that would be the best for them. And I get to wondering and thinking like, am I doing the best for them? Am I doing what is going to be able to give them the best life, the best care, the best everything? Or is what I'm doing kind of damaging them and destroying them? Something that I constantly keep on questioning every day with everything that I work with even my own self. I ask God those same questions. Is what I'm doing helping me, or is what I'm doing destroying me? My name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. and I was born July 4th, 1986. Today is a very interesting day because it's today. It's right now. And right now means I have a chance to be able to do something different right now. So if I'm not happy with what I see, I'm not happy with what's going on around me, I got the opportunity to be able to do something about it right now. I don't need to wait for tomorrow. I don't need to wait for yesterday. I don't need to wait for any certain circumstances to get better around me so that I can decide to make that change. I can do something right now. And whatever it is that I want to do right now is what's going to be able to get me to be able to be in that better position that I'm looking for. And sometimes I look at what's going on out here with all these animals and I just pay real close attention to them. And I just get to thinking a lot about my own self when I just sit out here and just do what I do. I've been playing with these little baby bunnies this past couple of days that they really get me thinking about the whole concepts of being in a place and having to grow up in it, and then finally having to just move away and move on, and then start your own thing and start to be able to master your own set of rules, your own set of ways, your own set of being, not having to do what it is that everyone that was raising you is telling you to do anymore. That's time to move on and being able to do something that's going to be able to make and bring to you what it is that you're looking for, and not doing what someone else is looking for you to do. That's why when I look at a lot of these animals, I like to just put them out. I like to put them in the thick of it. Just build something simple for them to be able to come home to be able to hang out, get out of the rain and get out of the snow. And it don't really snow here, but get out of the rain and get out of the sun and make sure they got trees around to get out of the sun. And then I just see what they're gonna do, see what's gonna happen. Because if I'm the one that's constantly just like, you stay here, you do this, you make this happen, I do know this one thing about raising all these animals, that they don't function all that well. They actually start to pass away really fast on you when you tell them what it is that you're looking for every second, every moment, every way. They don't seem to be in the level of, I'm going to say, joy that they want to be in, because they're very, very restricted on where they can go, what they can do, how they can do, what they can eat, where they can eat, how they're going to eat, what they could drink, where they could drink. They don't really function that well because then they're constantly just relying upon me to be able to survive. And it's one thing that I do notice about all these animals is they really like to be able to rely upon themselves to be able to make sure that they are able to live. That they really like to know that they have a place where they can go get their own water. They got a place where they know how to be able to get their own food. They got to know how to be able to make all that happen. That if their water runs into a situation, they got a backup water. So I make sure for that, at least for the chicks and everything out here, that they've got multiple sources so they don't ever feel like they just have the one. And they just live a way better, more interesting life, where you can just see it on their face that they're just more satisfied with what it is that they're able to do and what it is that they're just having to be able to be around on a day-to-day basis. When they're relying on me, they're stressed. They're not able to do what they do. So that's why for me today, I got to put out a question there. A question is something that I've been thinking about for a long while. That today I got to question this. If I'm only relying upon one source, how am I knowing that one source is going to be able to give me everything to be able to go into the right direction? That's why for me, I question a lot with everything that I do on a day-to-day. And today I'm questioning something on a concept of making sure that I'm not coming from just one source, that I'm coming from multiples and pretty much like all sources. That I'm not just dialing in on this is it and this is the way. That I'm coming in at it that one way and looking at all the different branches with it and having a good understanding of knowing that there's some here and there's some here and there's some here and there's some there. It's not just the one. And when we get stuck in just the one, then we can run into a rampaging mode that I just noticed all these animals out here run into, where they're constantly in this struggle. They're constantly in this battle of trying to figure out how to be able to survive, how to be able to do, and they're super anxious. It's something that I've just really come to notice, especially with working with dogs. If you only give them one option, they really don't like that all that much. They like to be able to have the availability of knowing that there's many options to be able to choose from. And then you're gonna really start to see the greatness behind them. And I just know that and notice that with my own self. If someone comes to me and just tells me, Mark, you gotta do it this way, and that's it. I'm like, I could do that for a little bit. But then after a while, I'm gonna start asking some questions like, well, what if we do it this way? I'd greatly appreciate it if you just looked at me and said, yeah, actually, we tried it that way and this happened. I'm like, oh, cool, that's awesome. And then I'm like, okay, then we won't do that. But if I come up with another idea, well, why don't we try it this way? Oh, we've never done it that way. But then why wouldn't we try it like this? Just to kind of almost see in a way. They back there fighting, huh? Just to see what's going to happen if we do it that way instead. And that's something that I've been doing, especially with just say these animals out here. That I do it away, and I'm like, I see what you're saying, but I want to try it like this. Okay, I see what you're saying, but I want to try it like this. And I'm still seeing what you're saying. That you said that it failed, but it failed because you're the manager of it, and not me being able to do it the way that I see being a manager of it. It really makes you question a lot out here about everything that goes on with what it is that I do, especially with my own self. That sometimes I think that I'm on a path of just understanding that this is it and this is the only way. But then I constantly just look and just see and just have a good understanding of knowing just a simple conversation I had today that I have with a lot of people. We all don't have the same diet. We all can't survive and thrive off the same diet. We all can't eat the same foods and be able to live and be able to prosper the same way on this planet. We all as human beings have something different for each of us that's going to be able to give us what it is that's going to be able to bring the best out of us. Some of us, being a vegan, being a vegetarian, that's on it. You can thrive, you can survive, you got so much energy, you don't have any issues. But other people, when they do that, they just start to dwindle away and they just start to fade away and they just can't survive. For some people, eating primarily a meat source, you're good to go. You're perfect, actually. If you even bring in a vegetable, you notice that something goes on with you. It doesn't work out right. Not all of us are on the same thing. And if not all of us are on the same thing, how can all of us be on the same path of just understanding that this is the only knowledge and this is the only way and this is it and that's just the end of it? Something that I just question a lot on, because I just noticed that we as humans are all different. We're all unique. And that's kind of the most beautiful thing that I'm going to say. And I think that what happens with us as people is we run into situations where we're no longer loving each other. Because something I want to read today in the book of the 1 Corinthians, the 13th chapter, all the way down to I'm just going to talk about the first verse in reality. I'm going to read that for you here in a second. But it's very interesting because you're not loving another person if you're forcing them to do something that you think was able to benefit you in a way, realizing and seeing that it's not benefiting that person. That's something that is very toxic, is the word that I'm going to say. Just because something helped me doesn't mean it's going to help you. But I do know one thing, that there's something on multiple places that I've been able to gather information from that's been able to help me. And that's something that I want more and more people to really understand, that there's not only just one that's going to get you. There's not one word, there's not one phrase, there's not one book, there's not one saying that's going to get you out of all your problems. You've got to open up and have a good understanding of looking at everything as a whole, as a collective. There's not this only side that's going to be able to do something for you. There's not only that side that's going to be able to do something for you. When you're only picking and choosing on just one or the other or one and this is it, you're going to run into situations where you're going to start battling. And then you're going to start battling with your own self. Then you're going to start battling with other people, because you're always going to have questions inside of your mind of like, well, what about this? And what about that? And someone's going to have to give you the answers and responses to those questions and those ideas and those things that are going on. Or they just look at you and just say, oh, this is just what it is, just because. That doesn't work for a human. That doesn't work for us. And that's not what I have any kind of understanding of knowing. Like, that's what our God is all about. Our God is always pushing us to learn more and to do more and to have more and to understand more, to just gain more, to keep on going. Never just get to a spot where you're just like, that's it, I'm good. I'm just going to rest here for the remainder of my life and I'm done. That's not what we're about as humans. We're constantly cruising, we're constantly going, we're constantly entertaining the ideas of this over here and that over there and this up here and that down there and this right in the middle and stuff that people aren't even talking about. You ever recognize and notice that there's some people that just stand up and say a word or say a speech and you're just like, I never even thought about the world that way. I never even thought about it like that. We're always constantly getting ourselves to be able to get into a better and a more stable, more interesting situation. And when someone comes to you and says that's it, if you don't believe that and you go here, then you're wrong. And it's like, I don't know. I just can't agree with that. And I can't agree that that's what God, and a creator of all out here, a creator of all these species out here, a creator of everything that's out here. I see division with animals. I see division with the trees. I see division with the grasses. There's just division out here. It's just what it is. There's some people that want to be here and there's some people that want to be there. Some animals that want to be there, some animals that want to be there. Just like how they in here fighting right now. Some of them are like, yo, I'm taking all the food. And others are like, hey, hold on, man. Let's share a little bit of this food. They're constantly going back and forth. But that's where the beauty, I'm going to say, is an intelligent human being on this planet. We have the availability and the access to be able to say to ourselves, like, no, I don't like that. I don't like that. And I don't like that. And I want to do something a little bit different. That's where I'm going to say we as humans are nothing like these animals, nothing like these trees, nothing like these rocks, nothing like anything. We are extremely unique with our own selves and our own characters and our own beings. And it's something that we should really try to amplify more and stop trying to put everybody in just one box. This is just who you have to be, what you have to do, how you have to dress, how you have to speak, how you have to say everything, how your whole world needs to be. That's very, very toxic. That's very, very, and I'm watching this toxicity start to manifest with how people in different groups and different clans and different organizations are really starting to fight each other, really start to Hold on. Hey, Kahi, all done. That's how. Or you good, Johnny? You good? That's how we as a people really start to become when we're just like, this is it and this is the only way. As opposed to just having a good understanding of we all have our way. We all have our understanding. But the one thing that I am going to say, if you're in a situation where you're just like not really getting what it is that you're looking for, the joy that you're looking for, the peace that you're looking for, the being able to forgive others the way that you're looking for, then maybe you should continue to keep looking. Continue to keep seeking, continue to keep questioning, continue to keep going. And don't just say, this is just what it is. I just got to quit. I can't forgive people. I don't know. No, there's a way to be able to get past that. There's a way to be able to get information, to be able to get yourself through that. There's a way to be able to make sure that you're constantly learning, to be able to get somewhere, to be able to focus and get yourself away from that. Don't just quit and just give up. That's something that I think a lot of us do. And a lot of us just, we start something and then we think that, oh, it didn't work out for me. And you didn't give it enough time for one. A lot of times, like to go back to dieting and being on a specific diet. Get on a keto diet, paleo diet, vegan diet, a carnivore diet. I don't care what diet you go on. If you just give up in 3 days, oh, it's not for me. You didn't even try it. You didn't even like give it a go. You didn't even like get to experience it yet. You didn't even get it to your whole body to shift to really just see, is this gonna work or not for me? You gotta go months. And if not, you gotta go at least a half a year to really understand it. Discipline yourself hardcore for at least 6 months to say, is this actually gonna be able to help me? Is this actually gonna do something for me? Am I actually getting into a better place? Or am I just getting the same results over and over? And that's something that a lot of us should really just try to challenge a little bit more. But a lot of us, we say even get into the Bible. We read it for a week. And it's not helping me. It's not giving me what I need. You didn't even try it. You didn't even give it a go. You didn't even give it a chance. You just read a few passages here and there. You went to a church once and you said, they didn't help me. They didn't save me. And I'm still struggling with addictions. I'm still struggling with problems. I'm still struggling with anger issues. I'm still can't forgive anybody. I'm still having these problems. So it's not for me. And it's like you didn't give it a good go. And some of us have been in it for years. You've been going to the same church or similar churches and getting the same message. Hey, Kahi, y'all come here now. Y'all riling him up. Johnny, Oreo, Donkey Man, you good? Johnny, down. Johnny, down, down. And you've been doing that for 30 years. I got to go to the extreme on that one because 1 week compared to 30 years. You've been doing that for 30 years and you're still not getting the forgiveness you need. You're still not getting past your anger issues. You're still not getting able to get through any of your frustration. You're still struggling with all this. You're still not able to just stand up and speak and say who you are, what you are, and have a good understanding and representation of who you are as a human being. You've been doing that for 30 years. Maybe that's not the route that you need to be going. Maybe there's something different that you need to be able to get some information inside of you to be able to help you to be able to get through some of these things. And or maybe you're just constantly listening to a person who isn't even there. And that's why it's so complicated to be a pastor, a minister, a priest, an elder, any of these things. Because you need to be in a specific place for your own self as your own person before you can try to get someone else to be able to be there. That a lot of times, a lot of people are just standing up there and the best way of saying it is you're just faking it. You're faking it for a couple hours, you're faking it for a couple of days, and then you got to disappear and detox and decompress and de-stress and run away for a little bit to build yourself back up. And then you come back into the public's eye of, hey, I'm good to go again now. That's fake. That's manipulation. And a lot of these people are that. That's why they're not able to actually get you out of what it is that you're having your problems with. That I've listened to some people that have been able to help me get myself out of some things. Because I listen to them, I watch them, I study them, I pay real close attention to them. I see what everyone else around has to say about them. And I'm just like, that seems like a pretty solid guy. And he's talking about some pretty interesting information. I really want to be able to listen and pay attention to what this person is saying. That they're not just saying some stuff, they're actually living and doing some stuff. That's the part where I'm going to say is the most beautiful thing for us to really pay attention to. And that's why I even say going to the Bible talks about looking at the fruits of the person. It's not a matter of what that person is saying. See what's in the background. See what people have to say about them. You want to learn about me? Ask the closest people near, yeah, you know what I'm saying. Ask the closest people that are around me today to get a good understanding of who I am. Don't ask me, because I can say whatever it is I'm thinking or feeling or got going on in the day. Ask people that I've worked for. How was this guy? How was he? How was his conversation? How was his presentation? How is everything with them? That's how you're really going to learn about someone, not actually going to that direct source of that person. And that's where a lot of us should really start to challenge that with the people that we're, like, say, look it up to. Look at the people who are around them that have some things to say about them. And don't just discredit them because oh, he just doesn't like him because he's envious, he's jealous, he's this. You need to listen to all of that stuff. You need to get very, very clear information about all that. That's what I do simply with all these animals out here. I pay attention to all that's going on. When I watch and I pay attention to who's the leader. And when I see that everything is in chaos, I'm like, okay, that leader got to go. We need to bring a new one in because he's leading everybody to chaos. There's literally, like, this may sound crazy, but this seriously does happen. That there could be a leader in the chicken group here that I clearly need to get a new one in there because of how much I can hear them fighting and getting to that point nowadays that maybe the one that was passed away or decided he didn't want to be the leader no more, so he allowed someone else to be. But there's way more chaos going on today than ever before. That when there's bad leadership going on, there's a lot more fighting, there's a lot more battling, there's a lot more bickering, there's a lot more drama that happens. But when there's a good leader in there, it's super calm, it's super quiet, it's super relaxed, it's super peaceful. It's just so laid back. And that's something that we should really pay attention to is the collective group of all the people. That's where I could say, where things get interesting. This is where I can say today and the past, 20, 30, 40 years. I'm not even 40 years old yet, but I knew this the day that I understood about this whole presidential stuff going on. That I look at the people. The people are stressed. The people are hurting. The people are damaged. The people are feeling destroyed. The people are feeling stuck and crammed into a small box. Then maybe we should pay attention to who the leader is, because maybe the leaders are not giving us what it is that we need. It's got nothing to do even with a simple president. I say simple, but it's simple compared to all the people that are trickling down that are actually feeding and doing all the information. That if everyone, not everyone, but majority of everyone is struggling today. Majority of everyone is hurting today. Majority of everyone is behind today. The majority of everyone is struggling in some sort of way that they've never really struggled before. Maybe we should pay really close attention to our leadership to figure out what's going on here. And that's something that's just very, very fascinating to me because it's what we need to pay attention to. Not what these people are saying, but what's going on with everyone around, with everything that's happening. Because I want to read this right here. This is the concept of love. This concept of everything that I speak about when I would look at this Bible, because that's the common theme that I'm going to say that really just goes on with everything in it. That it's really telling us that you should not try to force yourself upon anybody, but at the same time, you should not try to allow someone to go into destruction. And at the same time, you can't force anybody to do anything that you want them to do. You got to just allow them to do what they got to do. You got to just speak it, and it just is what it is. So here in the 1 Corinthians of the 13th chapter, in the first verse, it says, this is very interesting. If I speak in the tongues of men or of angels, but do not have love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have a faith that can move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor and give my body to hardship that I may boast, but I do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. It does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always preserves. Love never fails. But where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part, but when completeness comes, what is in part disappears. When I was a child, I talked like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put the ways of childhood behind me. For now we see only a reflection as in the mirror. Then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. And these three things remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. It's so fascinating because it don't matter what you know. It don't matter what you do. It don't matter what you try to help with. It don't matter none of that. Because you could do a lot of things out here to just for show, just to try to make yourself look good, just to try to gain reputation. But the main thing behind all this is the people around you are going to know, because it's going to be a reflection of what it is that you actually did help out with. If the people are actually still hurting more, you're not helping out with anything. If the people are still begging more, you're not helping out with anything. If the people are still so frantic and unsure and very confused and don't knows, you're not helping out with anything. And that's something that we as a people today should really look hard and pay real close attention to. That if what it is that's going on in our leadership today is giving us what it is that we're having to deal with today, maybe our leadership all needs a whole new change. Maybe everything needs to be different with it. Maybe we need to bring in a whole new understanding. Maybe we need to try a whole new system, a whole new situation. I don't know why, but I just get sick and tired of when I hear people say, oh, we should do this. It's like, but we've already done that. So let's get away from that. Oh, we should do it like this because it works over here. I don't care. Let's not do that because we've already done that and we've already done it over there and it's still not thriving the way that it should be. And it's just, we need to do something different. And doing something different means that we need to be able to figure out how to be able to explain to all of us, and all of us need to start to be able to put out there a good understanding of knowing that we need a difference because we're not getting what it is that we need. We're struggling with what it is to be able to just basically survive today, unfortunately. And that's not just here in this country, that's going on worldwide right now. So worldwide, we have a situation where we need a whole new system in place that we've never done before so that we can go to places that we've never been before. And I just want to say thank you because that's something that I think a lot of us really need to start thinking more about. Instead of being on the path of I'm just good enough and allowing things to just happen to us, that I think that we need to stand up and be a little more vocal about what it is that we actually do want. With all these allegations, all this crazy madness that's going on today, there's so much that's going on where we're realizing that certain organizations that we thought were here to help we're actually here to just destroy us and just to put us down. And for them and their own greed and their own lust and their own envy to just keep on taking and having and not putting it where it needs to go and putting it how it needs to be. That we're running into a situation today that we're just allowing such negativity to happen to us and we're just like, I guess so, it's okay, whatever. And we just throw our hands up instead of just really protesting about what we really need to protest about. That when someone stands up and tries to protest, we need to understand who that person is and what they're talking about and what's going on with it and what they are actually trying to protest about, and not just out here just to protest so that they can gain it, they can get publicity, so they can be a credible person, so that they can get famous. That's something that is very, very dangerous that we are doing out here, and it's constantly going on. And that's not loving one another. That is just being so disastrous to each other. That's something that I'm just so thankful to be able to easily be able to see, because I'm not in it for the win for my own self. I'm not in it for the win for just this person. I'm in it for the win so that we all can be able to just live. So we can just live is all I'm looking for. That's all I care about. That's my main focus on this planet, is so that we can live. And how we are able to get there doesn't mean that we're all going to get there the exact same way. We got to all maybe do something completely different. And all of us putting that difference together is how we're going to be able to get to a better place and a better position. And I'm so thankful to be able to be a person, to be able to have this knowledge that I have and this understanding that I have. And hopefully one day be able to have some sort of influence to be able to convince some people of some things that we need to change. We need something different. And a lot of this change is not going to come from someone who is in the game already. We need to start bringing in some people that have no idea what the heck is going on. I mean, literally, sometimes we just, hey, Johnny, hey, we literally need to bring in someone that's not even of the age range that we were even thinking should be able to do such a thing. Because in reality, we need to be able to get the input, the information, the insight from someone who we're trying to help in with where they're at. A lot of times, like me today, as a 36-year-old guy on this planet, I don't know what a 15-year-old boy is going through. And sometimes we need to listen to that 15-year-old boy to actually hear, what's going on, man? What's happening? What's your school like? What's going on in your environment? What's everything around you going on like? What's your social media accounts looking like? How's your life? So that we can actually help that person, as opposed to just saying, I know how to help them, I just do it like I did it. No, just that 20-year difference, that boy cannot do what I do today. That boy cannot do what I did when I was his age. We are no longer anywhere near each other. We are no longer in the same world even anymore with how things have been changing in just 20 years. In just 20 years. But yet we've got people, hey, Johnny, you slick, man. I see you. You slick. Come here. Oreo down. Johnny down. Get down. Where May at? She good. It's times moving so fast that we've got people that are 60, 70, 80 years old trying to tell us that they know how to do for a 15 or 25-year-old guy today. That's impossible. Impossible. You have no idea. They can't do what you did. It's not the same anymore. And that's something that I'm just so thankful to be able to just recognize and be able to know. And I hope to be able to explain that to more and more people, that you think that you try to help by getting someone to do what it is that you did. And I'm telling you, you're only failing them. You're making it worse because they live in a completely different world. They live in a completely different society. They live in everything that's so different. And it's something that we as a people should really start to pay more close attention to. Thank you.